You're in the middle of a normal conversation and your mind is already 3 places ahead. You see the connection between 2 things nobody else linked together. You walk away from a discussion that everyone called resolved, and you're the only one still thinking about it. You don't try to be different, you just are. And you've probably spent a long time wondering why that feels so isolating. You're not broken. You're not difficult. And you're not overthinking this. The way your mind moves, the connections it makes, the questions it can't stop asking, the discomfort it feels with easy answers, that's not a malfunction. It's a different architecture. And like any architecture built for something specific, it comes with its own particular experience of the world. The first sign is that you find it almost impossible to accept things at face value. When someone gives you an answer, your mind immediately asks why. When a system exists, you instinctively wonder who it serves and whether it has to be that way. This isn't cynicism. It's a nervous system wired for pattern recognition, one that senses when the surface of something doesn't match what's underneath. Most people find this kind of mind exhausting to argue with, but that's only because it's genuinely difficult to outthink someone whose default setting is to question everything. The second sign is that you make connections other people miss. A song reminds you of an economic principle. A conversation about cooking unlocks something you'd been trying to understand about human behavior. Your mind doesn't sort information into separate boxes, it builds bridges between them, constantly, almost involuntarily. This is sometimes called associative thinking. And while it makes you unusually creative and perceptive, it also means your thoughts rarely travel in straight lines, which can make explaining them to others feel like translating a language nobody else learned. The third sign is that you're deeply uncomfortable with intellectual dishonesty. You can forgive mistakes. You can forgive failure, but something in you resists almost physically when people say things they don't believe, or believe things without reason. Vagueness, where precision is possible, feels like an itch you can't ignore. This standard, held privately and consistently, is one of the reasons your inner circle tends to be very small. You're not selective because you're arrogant. You're selective because you've learned that depth is rare, and you'd rather have one honest conversation than 20 comfortable ones. But here's the part nobody talks about. The fourth sign is that thinking differently often feels less like a gift and more like a burden you didn't ask for. The same mind that sees what others miss also sees what others get to ignore. You can't unknow what you know. You can't unsee what you've seen. And sometimes a simpler relationship with the world looks genuinely appealing, not because you want to be less, but because seeing everything all the time is quietly, relentlessly tiring. The fifth sign is that you process experiences on a delay. While others react immediately, you often go quiet. The real feeling, the real thought arrives hours later, sometimes days. You understand something in your body before your mind catches up. Or the reverse. Either way, you're rarely fully present in the moment of something. You're present to it later alone when the noise settles. This is not emotional unavailability. It's depth of processing. It just tends to look the same from the outside. The sixth sign is a complicated relationship with boredom. Not ordinary boredom, the deep kind. The kind that arrives in environments that aren't asking enough of you. In conversations that stay permanently on the surface. In work that doesn't require the full range of what your mind can do. This boredom isn't laziness. It's a signal. A mind built for complexity begins to turn on itself when it has nothing real to engage with, and the restlessness that follows is often mistaken for dissatisfaction with life, when really it's dissatisfaction with underuse. The seventh sign is that you hold contradictions without needing to resolve them. You can believe two opposing things are both partially true. You can sit with a question that has no clean answer and feel curious rather than anxious. Most people find ambiguity uncomfortable. They need a side, a verdict, a conclusion. You've learned that reality is messier than that, and you've made a kind of peace with the mess. The eighth sign is that you feel most like yourself in solitude, not because you dislike people, but because noise, social performance, and constant interaction require you to operate at a shallower level than your mind naturally wants to go. Solitude isn't loneliness for you. It's where you can finally think at full depth, where the internal conversation, the real one, can finally be heard. The ninth sign is the quietest one. It's the persistent feeling that you haven't yet found your people. Not in a dramatic way, just a low, steady awareness that the connections you've had, even the good ones, have never quite reached the part of you that matters most. That awareness isn't pessimism. It isn't a prediction about the future. It's evidence of how specific your hunger for real connection actually is. You're not looking for more people. You're looking for the right depth. And that search, patient, private, ongoing, is itself one of the most distinctly human things about you. None of these 9 signs are flaws. They are not problems awaiting solutions. They are the shape of a mind that was never designed for the surface. The questioning, the connecting, the delayed processing, the craving for depth, these are not things to manage or apologize for. They are simply what it looks like to think at a different frequency than most people around you. You were never out of place. You were just always looking for the right place. And that's not the same thing at all.